Hello, patrons of YouTube. This is a lifelong Christian boomer guy reacting to some short about the Bible condoning slavery. So check this out, please.
I'm going to touch that Bible or that Torah with a 10-foot pole. I don't want to claim none of that slavery, none of the rape, none of the murder, none of the killing, none of the stealing of land, none of the plundering, none of it. I don't want that nowhere near me. That's bad karma. I wouldn't want to touch
Okay,
that
so
Bible
check this out. I'd like to first iterate. You can see that behind this guy, this has a 1111 thing. So this guy doesn't obviously have faith in the Bible or whatever, but he has faith in the religion or numerology superstition, which is called angel numbers. And what this is, Billy Carson's stance, avoiding the Bible explained. Okay, so he doesn't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. Slavery. Okay, well, this era of slavery where African Americans are picking cotton, that's not in the Bible, by the way. So let's fast forward a little bit. Then the Spanish Inquisition, the conquering of lands. Yeah, the Spanish Inquisition was never in the Bible either. I'm really worried as a person who's a fan of history. I'm worried about how modern day you could just sway whatever people believe in a couple seconds, 1 minute. Yeah, let me give you the red pill on this, guys, and you can Google and look up everything I say. So, in the Bible, okay, for example, slavery, it's kind of like divorce. Divorce is hated by God, which was verbatim by Jesus Christ, right? But human beings are going to do it anyway. So it's in the Bible, and Moses authenticated it. Slavery and warfare and polygamy, right? It's not necessarily God's will. And there's examples of that in the Bible. But humans aren't going to stop that. Therefore, it's in the Bible, but it's not necessarily God's original plan. They even say things like warfare, the tools to make warfare, the knowledge to read the stars of like astrology, the knowledge of how women can make makeup and stuff like that, all coercive, all kind of manipulative wisdom, like how to, sharpen a stick and stick it into your fellow man, or how to lie and be cunning. The mythology is that all comes from a fallen angel story where fallen angels, namely named like Simjaza and Azazel in the book of Enoch, taught men a bunch of nefarious knowledge. So it's not like God gave man the knowledge to make guns and weapons and stuff, but by the time King David exists, they exist anyway. Not guns, but weapons and such. So it's like God works with it, right? So let me also red pill you that not only did St. Paul in the Bible, which is way at the latter end of the Bible than the beginning, not only did he talk about how if you're a slave, you need to work hard for your master, but at the same time, masters are not to abuse their power, and they're supposed to pay their workers and be fair and just. In the more beginning of the Bible, Saint Moses, he talks about how that if you have a slave, every 7 years, you're supposed to give them the option of freedom. Now, admittedly, that probably doesn't go for pagan slaves. Let me tell you where those pagan slaves were to come from. Now, people give God the Father or Jehovah or Yahweh a lot of dark shade, like they defame God, because supposedly in the Old Testament, the Hebrew Israelites were going about slaying and conquering their enemies and destroying everything, man, woman, child, and stuff like that, or taking the wives and kids, right, as slaves or wives or something. Let me tell you what's going on in those stories, because people just like to troll and give you disinformation because they don't want to believe in God, so they can believe in angel numbers and like sodomy or some shit like that, so they can do whatever they want. And they're mad at God for some reason, so to strike back after him, they're going to try to mislead you. In the Old Testament, almost the whole Old Testament, minus like the story of Noah and above, like after pretty much almost after the Tower of Babel, meaning like, here's the Bible, right? So about right here, this is the end of the Bible, this is the beginning, somewhere around right here to like right here, right? Or so. There was God Jehovah or Yahweh. He had two major rival gods in the Old Testament named Moloch and Baal. And especially with Moloch, people would literally, you can YouTube this, you can YouTube the stories and the dramatic reenactments. Moloch was a god that pagans would sacrifice their babies to. So, I'm telling you, Jehovah God Yahweh, he was sending his nation of Israel to go plunder, to go conquer, to go genocide these fucking people who were killing babies. And let me tell you something. You know where a lot of Vikings became Christian? Like, you'll see the movie Beowulf, the cartoon, where it's supposedly bad that they went from worshiping Odin to Jesus Christ. A lot of the Vikings killed the monks that they invaded, and they took the women around the area. They impregnated the women, so that's like slavery, sexual slavery. They took new wives, and the wives would catechize or convert their own offspring from the Vikings into Christians. So basically, long story short, not only is the Bible talking about how men are never going to stop having slavery or divorce, so we're going to give you fucking guidelines that you're not going to abuse that shit. There's even rules in the Old Testament. Jimmy Akin talks about this, if you can find it, that if you have to kill a man and you take his chick, you're supposed to shave her head and she's supposed to wear homely clothes and let her mourn her husband for a month, meaning she's not attractive to you. Like, after you take that woman with a shaved head and now she's crying her ass off, do you really want to go and try to force yourself upon that now? Like,